Imagine an airport so massive it could welcome over 100 million passengers every year. A hub designed to rival Singapore's Changi, Seoul's Incheon, and Hong Kong International. That's not a dream anymore. The Philippines is about to open one of the biggest airports in the world. It promises to completely transform the nation's aviation story. For decades, Manila's Ninoy Aquino International Airport, NAIA, has been one of Asia's weakest links. It's notorious for endless congestion, flight delays, and outdated facilities. Facilities that simply can't handle the country's fast-growing population and booming tourism industry. Travelers often rank it among the most stressful airports in Asia. And for the Philippines, a nation of more than 110 million people, and one of the world's top tourist destinations, that's a serious problem. Enter the new Manila International Airport, NMIA. Rising in Bulacan, just north of Metro Manila, this megaproject is nothing short of a game-changer. Built by San Miguel Corporation, NMIA isn't just meant to replace NAIA. It's designed to redefine Philippine aviation. With multiple runways, world-class terminals, and advanced flood-resilient engineering, it aims to finally give Filipinos and international travelers a modern gateway worthy of the country's potential. But this isn't just about shorter lines and bigger planes. The new airport is tied to jobs, trade, politics, and even environmental debates. Its scale and ambition could lift the Philippine economy to new heights, or spark new controversies. In this video, we'll dive deep into the vision, design, economic impact, controversies, and global importance of New Manila International. This isn't just an airport. It's the future of Philippine aviation, the vision behind NMIA. At the heart of the New Manila International Airport is a bold vision. It's led by San Miguel Corporation, SMC, one of the Philippines' largest and most influential conglomerates. For years, the nation has suffered from one of Asia's most overworked airports. But SMC saw this as an opportunity, not just to build another airport, but to create a world-class aviation hub that could finally put the Philippines on the global map. Planned to handle up to 100 million passengers every year, NMIA is designed with growth in mind. By comparison, NAIA's terminals were originally built for just 30 million. Yet they've been forced to serve nearly 50 million annually, resulting in chaos. NMIA aims to break this cycle. It ensures capacity that not only meets present demand, but anticipates the future growth of tourism and trade. Its location is strategic, Bulacan, around 35 kilometers north of Metro Manila. This site opens new opportunities for urban expansion. It also takes the pressure off the already congested capital. For millions of Filipinos living in central and northern Luzon, it means direct access to a global gateway without being forced to funnel through NAIA. But beyond numbers and logistics, the strategic goal is clear: to transform the Philippines into a true aviation hub. Positioned at the crossroads of Southeast and Northeast Asia, the country has always had the geography to be a major player in global air travel. What it lacked was infrastructure. NMIA represents the attempt to finally bridge that gap. It sets the stage for the Philippines to compete with Singapore, Bangkok, and Kuala Lumpur as a transit and tourism powerhouse, design and mega-scale. If ambition is the fuel behind NMIA, scale is its most visible proof. Spread across an enormous 2,500-hectare site, the airport is being built to rival the very best in the world. At full completion, it will feature 4 parallel runways. There are provisions to expand to 6. That makes it one of the most runway-rich airports in Asia. This is a critical detail. Runway congestion is one of the main reasons NAIA consistently suffers delays. The terminals themselves are world-class in design. They take inspiration from leading hubs like Singapore's Changi and Seoul's Incheon. The goal is to provide not just an airport, but an experience. Modern architecture, vast spaces for passenger movement, and the latest in aviation technology for smoother check-ins, faster security clearance, and more efficient boarding. Equally important is its eco-conscious approach. Located in a flood-prone area, the project integrates advanced flood control systems, elevated structures, and sustainable design principles. Green technology, from efficient energy use to waste management, is being embedded into the plan. It ensures that NMIA doesn't just solve old problems, but prevents new ones. For passengers, the promise is a seamless travel experience. Imagine stepping into a terminal where self-service kiosks, biometric systems, and digital boarding gates are the norm. The days of long, sweaty queues at NAIA could soon be replaced by an airport that actually feels competitive with Asia's best. This combination of scale and design doesn't just showcase ambition. It sends a signal. The Philippines is serious about competing globally. Jobs and economic impact. Airports aren't just about planes and passengers. They're about jobs and economic lifelines. And NMIA promises both in staggering numbers. During construction alone, the project is projected to generate over 1 million jobs. These range from engineers and construction workers to logistics providers and service industries. Once operational, tens of thousands more will be employed directly in aviation, retail, hospitality, and support services. The economic ripple effect extends far beyond Bulacan. Improved connectivity means more tourists, more conferences, and more global business flowing into the Philippines. The tourism and hospitality sectors have long been constrained by NAIA's inefficiency. They stand to experience exponential growth. Hotels, restaurants, and travel agencies will all see greater demand. Then there's the matter of foreign investment. Global companies often weigh infrastructure heavily when deciding where to set up shop. A modern, reliable airport signals a country that's open for business. For years, NAIA's inefficiency has been an economic drag. Its limited opportunities and cost billions in lost potential. NMI flips that narrative. It promises to turn the Philippines into a regional magnet for investment. And let's not forget the Bulacan and Central Luzon economy. Local businesses, from food suppliers to real estate developers, are already positioning themselves. They're preparing for the boom that NMIA will bring. This isn't just about solving a Metro Manila problem. It's about creating a new growth corridor for the entire region. Simply put, NMIA isn't just an airport. It's an economic engine with the power to reshape industries, communities, and livelihoods. Connectivity and infrastructure links. An airport, no matter how impressive, is only as good as its accessibility. That's why NMIA isn't being built in isolation. It's part of a massive network of new infrastructure projects. At the forefront are expressways and new transport corridors. They connect Bulacan directly to Metro Manila. The airport will link seamlessly to the North Luzon Expressway, NLEX, as well as new arterial roads that cut travel times dramatically. For passengers coming from the capital, the difference could mean hours saved. Even more game-changing are the rail connections. Plans include integration with the Metro Manila subway and the North-South Commuter Railway. These create direct, reliable links between the airport and the heart of the city. For the first time, travelers will have a real alternative to the nightmare of road traffic when trying to catch a flight. But it doesn't stop there. The project also envisions integration with seaports and logistics hubs. It turns NMIA into more than just a passenger gateway. It's a full-fledged transportation ecosystem. This is critical for cargo movement. It makes the Philippines more competitive in global trade. In short, NMIA isn't just solving NAIA's problems. It's building the connective tissue that allows a modern economy to function. Efficient links to land, sea, and air make it possible for goods, services, and people to move at the pace the 21st century demands. If done right, this integration could be the difference between NMIA being simply a new airport and NMIA being the nerve center of Philippine connectivity. Regional competition. For decades, the Philippines has been overshadowed by its Asian neighbors when it comes to aviation. Singapore Changi, Hong Kong International, Seoul Incheon, and Bangkok Suvarnabhumi have dominated the region. They've drawn the bulk of long-haul flights and cargo traffic. These airports didn't just serve passengers. They shaped their nations into global hubs for commerce and tourism. The new Manila International Airport, NMIA, is the Philippines' long-awaited chance to join that league. With the capacity for 100 million passengers annually and the runway infrastructure to support constant traffic, it can finally attract more long-haul flights from Europe, North America, and the Middle East. Airlines that once bypassed Manila due to congestion may soon reconsider. Cargo is another key battlefield. Today, most goods from Southeast Asia are funneled through hubs like Singapore or Hong Kong before reaching the world. NMIA's size and logistics integration aim to change that. It could make Manila a more direct gateway for trade. This could shave costs and time off shipments. It would boost the Philippines' role in global supply chains. But perhaps the biggest shift is psychological. For years, Manila has been seen mainly as a destination, not a transfer point. With NMIA, that perception could change. Imagine passengers from Sydney transferring in Manila en route to Europe, or travelers from North America connecting through the Philippines on their way to Southeast Asia. If successful, NMIA won't just serve Filipinos. It will serve the world. Environmental and social challenges. Of course, a project this massive doesn't come without serious environmental and social challenges. The airport's location in Bulacan has raised alarms among environmental groups, particularly over the impact on mangroves, wetlands, and local biodiversity. These ecosystems are natural barriers against flooding. They're also critical habitats for fish and wildlife. There are also legitimate concerns about flood risks. Bulacan is historically prone to flooding. Building an airport there requires extraordinary engineering solutions. San Miguel Corporation has promised flood control systems, elevated runways, and advanced drainage. But many remain skeptical until these solutions are tested in real-world conditions. Socially, the most pressing issue is the displacement of fishing communities. Thousands of families who rely on Bulacan's coastal waters for their livelihoods face relocation. Critics argue that while the airport may bring national economic benefits, it comes at a heavy price for locals. Protests and legal challenges have already emerged. They highlight the tension between progress and preservation. Balancing these concerns will be crucial. NMIA can't simply be a triumph of engineering. It must also be a model of sustainable development. Otherwise, the project risks repeating the cycle of short-term gain and long-term problems. Problems that have plagued past infrastructure projects in the Philippines. Funding and politics. At over $14 billion, NMIA is the largest infrastructure project in Philippine history. What makes it unusual is that it's entirely privately funded by San Miguel Corporation. There's no direct government spending. On paper, this shields taxpayers from debt. But in practice, it raises questions. How will profits be recouped? What will this mean for fees and accessibility? Proponents hail this as a visionary model. A private conglomerate shouldering the burden of building infrastructure the government has long failed to deliver. Critics, however, warn of potential risks. Will this create a monopoly where private profit takes precedence over public service? Will political connections influence how contracts and regulations are handled? Politics is never far away from projects of this scale. Some politicians have praised NMIA as the bold step the country needs. Others fear it will become another case study in crony capitalism. The government's role, though limited financially, remains critical. Approvals, regulations, and oversight are essential. Without strong governance, even the best projects can stumble. Yet, despite the debates, NMIA has moved forward at a pace rarely seen in Philippine infrastructure. That alone signals a political will, or at least political alignment, that could see it through. Whether future administrations will support or challenge the project remains an open question. Impact on Filipino travelers. Beyond the politics, economics, and global prestige, the most immediate beneficiaries of NMIA will be ordinary Filipino travelers. For decades, flying out of Manila has been synonymous with frustration, delays, overcrowding, and outdated facilities. NMIA promises to flip that experience. By introducing more runway capacity and terminal space, the airport could finally drive down ticket prices. Competition among airlines increases when airports can accommodate more flights. That gives passengers cheaper and more direct options. For Filipinos dreaming of trips to Europe, the U.S., or the Middle East, NMIA could make those flights both more accessible and affordable. The passenger experience itself is set for a revolution. Smoother check-ins, faster security, better lounges, and smarter baggage handling. For many Filipinos used to cramped NAIA terminals, this shift will feel like stepping into a different world. There's also a powerful emotional impact. Having a world-class airport is about more than convenience. It's about national pride. For years, Filipinos have watched neighbors like Singapore and Thailand enjoy airports that symbolize progress. NMIA gives the Philippines a chance to reclaim dignity and confidence in its infrastructure. In the end, this isn't just about moving planes and people. It's about giving Filipinos the sense that their country can build, compete, and stand tall on the world stage. What this means for NAIA. The rise of the new Manila International Airport, NMIA, naturally raises the question, what happens to the country's current gateway, Ninoy Aquino International Airport, NAIA? For decades, NAIA has been both a lifeline and a bottleneck. It's handled more passengers than it was ever designed for, while earning a reputation for congestion and inefficiency. Many wonder if NMIA will replace NAIA entirely. But the more likely scenario is that NAIA will evolve into a secondary hub, with NMIA absorbing the bulk of international traffic. NAIA could shift its focus toward domestic flights and regional connections. This would allow it to operate more efficiently, relieving passengers from the nightmare of constant delays and overcrowding. Meanwhile, Clark International Airport in Pampanga has already been positioned as an alternative to NAIA, especially for travelers in northern and central Luzon. With NMIA's arrival, Manila may finally move toward a multi-airport system, similar to those in Tokyo or London. Each airport would serve different functions. NMIA as the international mega-hub, NAIA as a secondary airport for domestic and regional routes, and Clark as a growing hub for Luzon. This multi-airport strategy could ultimately give the Philippines something it has never had before: redundancy and resilience in its aviation system. Instead of overloading a single facility, air traffic could be distributed across multiple gateways, creating a more balanced and reliable network. In other words, NMI isn't just about replacing NAIA. It's about redefining Manila's entire aviation future. When we look at the new Manila International Airport, it's tempting to see only concrete, glass, and runways. But in reality, NMIA is a symbol of modernization, a physical statement that the Philippines is ready to compete on the global stage. For too long, the country has struggled with outdated infrastructure, relying on patchwork fixes rather than bold solutions. NMIA signals a break from that cycle. This airport represents more than just a new way to fly. It embodies ambition, a determination to finally match the Philippines' growing economic potential with infrastructure that reflects it. In a sense, NMIA is about rewriting the narrative. From being home to one of Asia's weakest airports, to aspiring to host one of the best. That shift has enormous implications, not only for aviation, but also for national pride and identity. Yet, the challenges ahead are significant. Building the airport is only step one. Ensuring its execution, sustainability, and integration with broader urban planning is just as crucial. Without reliable transport links, NMIA risks becoming another white elephant. Grand on paper, but frustrating in practice. Without proper flood and environmental protections, it risks trading short-term gains for long-term vulnerabilities. And without inclusive policies, it risks alienating the very communities it displaces. But if done right, NMIA offers an unprecedented opportunity. It can redefine how the world sees Philippine aviation, shifting Manila from an afterthought to a central hub in Asia. It can spur tourism, attract investors, and strengthen trade ties. More importantly, it can give Filipinos a new source of pride, proof that their country can build world-class projects that truly deliver. Ultimately, NMI isn't just about planes taking off. It's about the Philippines taking off as a nation, embracing modernity while proving that it can rise to the challenges of the 21st century. The new Manila International Airport is more than a construction project. It's a turning point in Philippine history. For decades, NAIA has symbolized the frustrations of Filipino travelers. Endless lines, delayed flights, and a sense of being left behind, while neighbors soared ahead. NMI flips that story. It's not just an airport. It's a vision of what the Philippines can become. If successful, NMIA will transform Philippine tourism, opening doors for millions of new visitors. It will strengthen business ties, making Manila a more competitive hub for trade and investment. And it will elevate the Philippines' global standing, giving it the infrastructure needed to finally compete with Asia's aviation giants. There are still obstacles to overcome: funding, politics, environmental concerns. But the stakes are clear. The Philippines cannot afford to remain grounded by outdated infrastructure. NMI offers the runway toward a more connected, competitive, and confident future. For decades, the Philippines struggled with one of Asia's weakest airports. Now, with new Manila International, it's aiming for one of the world's best.